tournament. And, Coach, just a softball question for you here. What is a rise ball? No, I'm kidding. What did you learn about your team in their run to the Sun Belt Championship game?
I mean, I thought they fought their tails off. I thought we pitched the ball really well. I think we only gave up 9 runs in the 4 games, but unfortunately 5 of those were in one inning yesterday. That was, ultimately the deciding factor, which, we didn't handle the ball, and at one time for an error and then just some, inopportune things. So, but overall, man, just proud of the guys. They knew what we were trying to accomplish, and they did everything they could to give us a chance to be a host site. And I was just really proud of them for, getting to that championship game 3-0 and giving us that chance.
Coach, you got the host news out of the way last night. What's the reaction of the team when they see Hattiesburg listed among the regionals?
They were pumped up, man. It was a really good moment for them. One that I felt like they, again, like I said, did everything they could to earn that. And you don't ever know because it's out of your hands. But we tried to schedule hard this year, and I felt like the guys, answered the test. And ultimately we wanted to certainly dogpile yesterday, but it wasn't in the cards. Coastal, congrats to them. They had a really good team, and, it was a great ball game, and they came out on top. But just glad our guys, after that disappointment, were able to get good news that evening, that we're going to get to play, postseason baseball at the Pete.
When you look at this little regional that you've got, Alabama, a team you're very familiar with, played them over the past couple of seasons. Miami is a team that year in, year out, you find them in postseason baseball. There's some big-name programs coming to Pete Taylor Park. What are your thoughts? Your early thoughts on when you saw the regional bracket and who was coming to Hattiesburg? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I knew it was going to be tough. They all are, and but I'm not surprised with Alabama. Wouldn't have surprised me it was one of them or even Mississippi State coming. So and then 3 seed being Miami, which obviously they're a good program, a lot of history there, and but that and then Columbia. I mean, we're not overlooking them by any means. They won their tournament, and so good field, tough field, but I think they all are, and I'm just thankful that we're that 1 seed and get to decide how we're going to attack this thing.
Coach, we've talked about it a lot last week. I know this is kind of the regionals are set, but we were adamant. We were just locked in stone. If Hattiesburg gets a regional, Mississippi State will be there. How surprised were you to not see the Bulldogs in your field?
Very surprised, in all honesty. It's, but again, we don't make those decisions, yeah. And we figured it would either be them or Alabama, and just because of the proximity and just all that stuff, it just made sense. And but whoever it is, we're going to treat it just like we have all year. It's we don't really worry about who we're playing; just try to go out and play the best game we can.
I'm a little upset though, Coach. I wanted to come down to Ed's and get a burger and a shake, and now I don't have a reason to do that. I don't cover Alabama, Coach. You kind of messed me up there. I got to be honest with you.
Well, you're still welcome if you want to come and catch a game.
I might need to do it. I might need to do it.
Yeah, Tallahassee's far away.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference between preparing for let's say the Troy series on a weekend and preparing for a regional?
A lot of scouting reports, a lot of video watching, and but I'm certainly thankful we're doing that. It's just part of it. So I think there is a little more strategic. You look at things a little different. Because matchups, arms, which arm would match up better against this or that or whatnot. So I think you got to collect all the information and decide what's the best plan of attack, because you're trying to win it. You want to win game 1. You want to win it out as much as you can, but you got to prepare for it and just try to plan. What gives you the best opportunity to win the entire regional and to move on, and you got to make those decisions, based on that.
We're not going to ask you to tip your hand here or anything like that, but 1 seeds are often faced with a decision of who to pitch in game 1. Depending on who their 4 seed is. What goes into that decision for you? How do you weigh those options to ultimately make your decision? Which, again, we're not going to press you on it, but how do you weigh that decision?
Well, you got to look at, what does that lineup look like, that you're going to face, and how do your guys match up, your starter, who matches up. Okay, you can kind of check that box. You also look at their arms, too. I mean, do they have a a Friday night guy that can handle anybody. Well, if that's the case, you look at a low-scoring game possibility, and, you got to match that. So, you collect, like I said, all the information that you can, and then, look at it and say, all right, this is our team's strengths, and this is theirs, and you see how it matches up. So it's definitely, a question that's deserves a lot of thought. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, you were able to beat Mississippi State and Ole Miss in a game this year. In the past few years, you've had super regional or regionals where you've knocked out LSU and you've knocked out Auburn. How much confidence do you have in your team being able to knock out a team like Alabama that's been playing pretty good baseball all year?
I'm very confident. I think, if we're playing our game and playing clean and everything's hitting, I think we're as good as anybody. I think we can, stand up with anybody. Baseball's a game of execution. Bigger, faster, stronger, whatever you want to call it, doesn't always prevail. So it's about executing, and I know we have the talent to match up, and it just comes down to going playing that clean game when that moment comes.
When you think about this season, and I want to talk about J.B. Middleton in particular, because all season long we almost renamed our weekly pitcher award the J.B. Middleton Award because he's just been so good and so consistent all season long. And you're a pitching coach by trade. You've had some good ones down there in Hattiesburg. Where do you rank JB?
Oh, he's up there, man. He's in the top three for sure for me in my time here. Just his growth has been really, really fun to watch. Big jumps. Each year was a significant jump, and which bodes well for him because I think there's more ahead. I think his future is bright. I think there's more growth for him, but he's been lights out, man. He's done a great job, and he'll be amped up, ready to throw a regional, get a regional start here at the Pete, and with a great crowd.
And then at the plate, Nick Monaster, just another tremendous season. I think fans around the Sun Belt will be glad when he's finally out of eligibility because he has been tearing it up his entire time there in Hattiesburg. What kind of Yeah, go ahead. I was going to let you gush about him, man. Tell me what you want.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's another, homegrown product that just, has grown, from his freshman year to sophomore to now, and just loves to play. Just loves to play, and he's a leader, by action, by his actions, and vocally as well, and just a tremendous young man. This means a lot to this program, and he'll leave here knowing that he provided a lot, and he helped really strengthen this culture.
Coach, I know you have bigger fish to fry here, but I am curious your thoughts, if you have any, on the exclusion of the aforementioned Troy from the field.
Well, I felt like they were deserving. It was a really good ball club. Unfortunately, they might have, lost, some games down the stretch that ended up hurting them. But we had to, we played them 4 times in a week, I guess, and and it was, we had to earn it, and so forth. But I felt like that would be a regional team that, could do some damage, in the whatever seeding they would have gotten. So I hate it. I was pulling for them. Obviously, you want your league to get as many as they can, and but it's tough, man. It's tough if you're a non-power 4 to get at large bids. It just is, and you got to put no doubt in your resume with the committee that you deserve to be in there, and it's just bubbles getting bursted and stuff like that impacts it as well. So it was I hate it for them, but it is what it is.
Coach, you have to forgive me if I'm just missing it. I looked on the Southern Miss website and I looked on y'all's Twitter feed. But what time are you playing Game 1?
Just got a notification that it's going to be 6 o'clock. The TV schedule has something to do with that, and that's what we were kind of told, and which is fine. I mean, 6 o'clock game at the Pete, will be fun. So I think they're playing at 2 or 1, and we're at 6 o'clock.
Did they give you the option to take the first game if you wanted it?
Well, we tried that. That's what we were, our and everything. But I think the ESPN, NCAA, whatever connection there had some different thoughts on that. It's what we've learned.
Now, they wanted ratings in prime time, Coach. That's why they want your team in there.
Well, I hear you. And again, it is. I'm fine with it, and because I know our crowd's going to be rowdy. It's going to be packed out.
Coach, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining us all season long. We hope to have you on one more week, and we'll talk about Super Regional.